Bonjour, messieurs and madames. I'm Scotty or not. Grease all over the freaking. Welcome to the first day of Based on TV month. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Yes, that's something I pulled out of my booty cheeks. What are you doing? Okay. Pulled out of my booty cheeks and, yeah. So I wanted to do something for March. That's always my extra theme month. I don't want to do zombies this year. How about other things? March of the creatures, March of the vampires. I didn't have enough of anything. At one point, March of the mockbusters was a thing. But I came up with this, you could say March of the TV adaptations. I don't know. But TV adaptation month. And I'm not just counting ones that are taking, like I said, it's based on TV shows is what I'm saying. Because I'm doing ones that are technically, some are also in continuity with the show. I'll be doing some of those. So, yeah. And we're starting all the way back in 2007, December 2007, with Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yes. I'm sorry, but hold on a minute. The grease, I had pizza for lunch, so it's like messing with the screen. Better. I don't ever move this thing. For some reason, I always have to adjust it every single time. I don't know why. Alright, now I gotta scoot up. Alright, so Alvin and the Chipmunks from 2007. So I remember seeing the trailer for this. I was a bit excited because Jason Lee was playing Dave, and I knew Jason Lee at the time from My Name is Earl. My name is Earl, so yeah. And he basically looks like him without the mustache, so. And I'm a big fan of Chipmunks. I grew up with the original Chipmunk movie as well as the two other animated films. And yes, once upon a time ago, I was going to do a whole Chipmunks review series that got derailed after Chipmunk Adventure because I just couldn't bring myself to the others. I'll have to do the others at some time. Those would be great for another birth month, but, you know. So, before I get into it, well, I guess I'll do an announcement, but it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this month I'm doing these videos, so, yeah. And then you still get a To Be Tuesday on Tuesdays, so you got extra videos. So anyway, yeah, I had cassette tapes, I had records. I still have my vinyl record of Alvin and Chipmunks Go Hollywood. That doesn't work because it's too bent out, but I'm not getting rid of it. I'm just gonna keep it there. I should have brought it out, but I didn't. And then I had a cassette tape of a Chipmunks. It was a country album, the Chipmunks country album, with Alvin sang "Achy Breaky Heart" with Billy Ray Cyrus. Chipmunks in Low Places, I think it was called. Yeah. And then the Chipmunk Adventure I watched all the time, and then the other two. Alvin Chipmunks Meet Frankenstein, this monster, is what should have been called. But technically it's not alive because Dr. Frankenstein is in the movie. But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the monster. They even call him Frankie. That's not Frankenstein. That's a monster. Then Alvin and the Chipmunks meet the Wolfman. They did not complete the trifecta and have them meet Dracula because maybe that's too fantastical. But they met a werewolf and the Frankenstein's monster, so. And the Wolfman they meet, not just someone who's a werewolf, is Lawrence Talbot. His name is Lawrence Talbot. So it's the Wolfman. So why couldn't they meet the Dracula? I don't know. Always baffled me. Waited for that to come out. Didn't. No. So then we waited years. We had some TV show reruns you could watch, some Christmas specials, all that stuff. Very infamous, the Chipmunks, for their Christmas song. Christmas, Christmas time is here. Time for toys. time for cheer. I actually have a Chipmunk CD, which I was going to grab, but didn't, and I'm not going to. But, yeah, my Chipmunk, I have, like, the best greatest hits or something. Maybe when I do the sequels, I'll bring it in, and maybe when I do Alvin and Chipmunks the Squeakquel, I'll bring in the vinyl, and I'll bring the CD if I remember. That's not going to be in this month, because I'm not doing any sequels. The sequels will be designated for something else I'm doing later this year. So yeah, and then come 2007, we're getting the trailers for the movie, and it looks like a typical thing. You know, the Smurfs would do it. I think it's later. The Smurfs would do it. It's CGI animation in the real world, but here, they're actually supposed to be actual chipmunks, which is confusing when you put it in the real world, because in a cartoon, you can make the chipmunks the size of children, but here, they're realistic, and they make them the size of actual chipmunks, which gets a little more confusing in the sequel, or Squeakquel, which I saw in theaters, by the way. Not this one. I am a lifelong Alvin and Chipmunks fan. Of course, I'm going to go to the theater to see the movie. I didn't see the other two for reasons that I don't know. We'll talk about it a bit. Yeah, so the story is that Dave Seville sucks at writing songs. So, he happens upon these chipmunks who hitch a ride to his house by accident, and he realizes they can not only talk, they can sing, and they can make a lot of monies. But then there is this evil record producer named Ian Hawke, played brilliantly by David Cross, who wants merchandising with the chipmunks, and plots to take them away from Dave. So Dave has to find a way to get them back. And there's a love interest. She's there. Yeah. I don't know. This is a basic origin story of sorts. There's no school, there's no Miss Miller, there's none of that stuff. Spoiler alert, there's never a Miss Miller, even though you think there's going to be. There's not. It doesn't really make any sense, because the Chipmunks and the Chipettes are supposed to be love interests for each other, but they all live under the same roof as if they're a family. That doesn't... And you think, well, maybe they're not love interests in this one. Literally the first scene in the one of the first scenes they see him in Squeakquel, there's the slow motion, that they have. So, yeah, it gets confusing. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about this one. The Chipmunks are voiced by Justin Long, Matthew Gray Gubler, and Jesse McCartney. But they're not the singing voices, which is very confusing because, you know, if you know this, Jesse McCartney is a goddamn singer. And he doesn't do the singing voice. Yeah, it's confusing. And I never got the point of getting celebrities to voice these characters. A lot of times, in a lot of movies and TV shows now, they don't care about voice actors. They get celebrities. Cool. That's fine. Like, Seth Rogen is on record telling people who complain, well, you know, you hired me for me, you're going to get my voice. Like, you're not, like, you know, like that's why people got pissed off about Chris Pratt's not doing the Mario voice. And my defense to that is, do you really want to sit through an hour and a half movie as, oh no, we have to go as Luigi. What are we going to do? After about 20 minutes, it would get pretty annoying to have a whole movie with that voice. I'm just saying. Change it up a little bit. I don't remember hearing any complaints about Captain Lou. Yeah, I'm Captain Lou and I'm talking to you. Yeah. I don't hear any complaints about him yet. Yeah. Yeah. But the point to have a celebrity do the voice is that you can hear the voice and go, oh, hey, that's so-and-so. So-and-so is in the movie. I'm going to go watch it. But you take these celebrities and you have them do the voices, you pitch them up. You can't tell it's them. It's even more ridiculous when they get what is it? It's Christina Applegate, Anna Faris, and someone else do the Chipettes in the second one. What is the point of getting celebrity voices if you can't tell it's them? It's confusing. Right? The original ones, Ross Bagdasarian and his wife did the voices for the Chipmunks and Chipettes. You know? I'm not saying that Jason Lee should do the voices, that's beyond that. But Bagdasarian does the singing voices. I think. Maybe. I think he does the singing voice for Alvin, which is even more confusing why he couldn't just do the voice. I don't know. So we start off with, we had a bad day, you take a one down, sing a sad song, just turn it around. And the Chipmunks are in the tree, because this is an origin story. We can't just have the Chipmunks already. Like, in my opinion, you should have started this with the squeakquel. The story of them, oh, you're chipmunks, you going to school, you could have combined that with them being stars, like, you know, I don't know. Like, say, oh, I don't know. I don't know how you do that and also do an origin story. I don't know. But they're in a tree, the tree gets chopped and used as a Christmas tree, because this is technically a Christmas movie, I don't know, for this record building that happens to be where Ian is. And Dave Seville is also there to present his music, and it sucks. So he gets kicked out. I do like how he's treated like royalty when it comes to, hey man, this is Dave Seville. And he gets in there, it sucks, Dave. Your music sucks. And then he's just treated like shit. So he steals the basket of muffins, which the Chipmunks are attached to, ends up taking them home and throw them in the trash. And look, don't throw away perfectly good muffins. Don't do that. They then start to cause a little chaos in Dave's house, which makes him realize that there are chipmunks in his house. And they talk. He gets knocked unconscious, and then Alvin asks for a bunch of things. I don't know what he's going to do with those things, but love interest lady. I forgot her name. She's played by Cameron Richardson. Cameron Richardson. Yeah, I don't get the point of her. Like, I wonder if they were trying, because it's the same studio, they were trying to do what they did with Garfield and say, oh, he needs a love interest, sure. But Liz was in the cartoon. Dave never really had a love interest within the Chipmunks show. Not really. And they do it twice. Yeah, they do it twice. They learn a lesson Dave's barely in the squeakquel, but they learn a lesson not continuing any love interest stuff for the Chipwrecked, which they don't need any time for anyway. And then they make the whole plot point of the fourth one about his love interest. Yeah. But, yeah, so he knows they can sing, so he's gonna have them help him. He's gonna write the songs for them, and they'll sing it. But my problem is, so this is supposed to mirror Bagdasarian's own problems, where whatever he wrote, nobody liked until he pitched his voice up to sound like Chipmunks. Then people liked it. Okay. But realistically here, I mean, that really happened. But with this, the Chipmunks, Ian said that Dave's writing sucks. So, according to the confines of this movie, how would having Chipmunks sing these songs affect anything? It's still the crappy songs that Dave is writing. But lo and behold, he overhears them sleeping and writes the Christmas song. Me want a plane that loops the loop. And because Alvin mentioned that's not a hula hoop earlier. Me, I want a hula hoop. So he writes this. Instead all going, and when he tries to present it to Ian, they get shy. Yeah, this is padding. Because it ultimately doesn't matter. Because they're like, oh, we got shy. But like, they literally never show any point of shyness throughout the rest of the damn movie. At all. This is only there to pad out the runtime. I've always disliked this part. I'm like, why are they singing? Like, oh, they're shy. Alvin is the biggest egotist in any cartoon show. There's no way he'd be too shy to do anything. He's got a bigger ego than Donald Trump. I know that's impossible, but it's there. Maybe not as big as Donald. Well, big ego as Donald Trump in 2007. I'll say that. But maybe not anymore. But he's got like a gigantic ego. No way there'd be any shyness. It's just there to pad out the runtime. Because ultimately, in about 10 or 15 minutes later, they go to see Ian anyway, perform the song, and it becomes a hit. Why does we have to have an extra 15 to 20 minutes between then? Is this movie needs to be an hour and a half? I don't know. It's padding. It's pure padding. There's no reason for them to be shy. And yes, I have noticed now that I'm reviewing movies a lot more, I am finding the padding in movies that they use to stretch things out. This is pure padding. Oh, and by the way, so is this relationship that they do. Because, like, he has a date with Cameron Richardson, and they clean up the house, they get the food going, and he's all antsy, though. She said, what's your problem? Tell me the truth. Okay, I'll tell you the truth. My life's being sabotaged by talking chipmunks. And she doesn't believe him and leaves. Again, though, then we don't see her again until after they become famous. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just thought you thought I was crazy. I'm like, yeah, but my problem is, when he says that, why don't the chipmunks pop up and go, yep, that's us. Like Dave, like, oh, hey, Dave mentioned us. Let's show ourselves, you know? Because we gotta pad this out. Like, she can't find... It doesn't really make any sense that she doesn't find out. You think she would? I don't know. Because then it makes her seem very, very much gold digger. Like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be famous, Dave. Now I'll fuck you. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Jesus. Now I'll bang you, Dave. I know you're going to be famous with the Chipmunks. I'll bang you now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the F words, but you know these are not... You know, but I'm just saying. Now, yeah, that's basically what it amounts to. Like, she wants to give him not the time of day. She even wanted to have the dinner with him. He sort of forced her into it. And so, like, maybe she used that as an out. But now that she knows that he's going to make boku bucks, she's still not going to be in the sequel. Like I said, Dave's barely in the sequel. But, so, yeah, they make a deal with Ian, they're selling his stuff, they do a little concert thing. And of course, he's like, hey Dave, you gotta write a new song. So what do you think it is? I told her it's Doctor, I was in love with you. Which is already an established song, so who gives a flying poo? Yeah, like, oh, you gotta write a new song. And then they're like, that's what they perform. And I'm like, but... Well, I guess technically, Ross Bagdasarian was the one who came up with that, right? So technically, yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. All the other songs they sing throughout this franchise are just covers, by the way, because they think, oh, we gotta have a new song, and then they just do that one, and then they do a couple covers. Yeah. Well, Dave, there's also a thing where Dave doesn't want to admit that they're a family. He's like, no, I'm not your dad. My dad, just a guy who's, I'm your manager. I'm taking care of you. That's all it is. Like a Christmas thing. He's like, no, I'm not. This is not. And Ian shows up with gifts. Gives him a Oker's Boys CD. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much, but yeah. But like the Oker's Boys, right? That's not the Oak Ridge Boys. That's not a Hank Williams song. So Ian eventually through lies and subterfuge, convinces them that Dave is trying to ruin their career, and they have a problem with Dave. Dave's trying to be responsible. They don't want to be responsible, so they move in with Uncle Ian. And then their life becomes living hell because he's making them work 24/7, which is not only like child abuse, chipmunk abuse, but also pretty fucking stupid. Because he's like, the doctor that other voices are going to go out, and he's like, lip sync. Britney Spears does it, right? Lip sync. Yeah, but here's the problem with that. You need the Chipmunks to record more songs. If their voices go out, they can't record said songs for them to lip sync to. And of course, Ian could just hire talents to sing the songs. He could pitch up the voices, whatever. Sure, but he at one point, even at that party before he takes them in, he's like, the songs are just the songs don't matter. It's all about merchandising. Merchandising is basically what he's saying. And he's like, yeah, because he shows these dolls, and he's like, it's supposed to be a commentary on how you can merchandising and how it's all about making money, and a movie that is just trying to make money off of an IP. And then they make, I don't know if it was supposed to be a clever commentary or not, but they show this chipmunk doll that was something like Alvin, but neither do the CGI renders in the movie. So, but yeah, but yeah, Ian won't let them. They're like, no, we can't. You're gonna lip sync. Dave then decides he's gonna try to save them. He won't let in, but then girlfriend is there because she's a member of the press. Girlfriend ex machina saves the day because, yeah, it makes no sense that she's there other than she's part of the press. That's why she's in the movie, because if she's not in the movie, then Dave doesn't get in. Because, yeah, he gets in and then gets taken out almost right away because that doesn't really matter. And then, but then Alvin hears him go, Alvin! And they're like, Dave! And take off whatever clothes that they're wearing. Naked chipmunks. They're chipmunks. It's like a dog, And I laugh my ass off every time I see Simon on the keyboard going, I just do. But they don't get the lead because Ian gets a hold of them. And I'm just going to say this right now. David Cross is trying too hard to make it look like he's struggling with him. Because the CGI renders are barely moving, and he's going, I'm like, you are trying too hard to make it look like there's a struggle there when they're barely moving. It's like the animators didn't give a shit what he was doing and just did whatever. Gets my arm cracked. But yeah, he's like, you're going to work for me now. We're going to go on a world tour. They mentioned that earlier, like, we're going to tour for 6 months. No, 12! First of all, you don't tour for a whole year. That's no. I don't know. But, yeah, this is. And there's no real resolution to this because they're like, okay, we get them ready to go on a trip, and then Dave's like, I'm going to go save them. He chases after them. But then they have replaced themselves with the dolls, which were showed earlier specifically so that can be a thing later. And they're already in Dave's car. So Dave just takes them home. And then Ian just gives up. There's no climax. Then they're just back at home with girlfriend. And yeah. And we get them breaking stuff. And Alvin, after he goes, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it. Alvin! By the way, his Alvin I can do better. Alvin! Better than his. Yeah, I felt... It's like they didn't know how to end the movie. It's like, oh, they take him back. They escape and get in Dave's car and they drive home. Yeah, that's not how it would work. See, these chipmunks, they no doubt signed a contract, which means they are contracted to perform. Now, to get out of that contract, they'd have to go to a court of law, and they'd have to be witnesses on the stand, telling them everything, all the abuse that Ian was doing, and then the judge would have to sign off on getting them out of their contract. Right? Right. No, we're just gonna, Dave's got him now. Ian loses. And this affects him completely because by the next movie, he's homeless, living by a dumpster. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like, losing the Chipmunks got him fired, I guess. I don't know. But it never said, oh, look at them, we won that court case or anything. No, it's just... And they're still out... They somehow are still out there making music, even though they wouldn't have a record deal. Unless they still have a record deal with the record company and they just fired Ian. And that Dave is their own personal manager now. I don't know. I'll give this a low, pretty good. It's enjoyable. Oh, I need to talk about the infamous scene here. The infamous scene in which Simon eats Theodore's poop. Scotty, why do you talk about that scene? Because it's important. No, it's not. Actually, it is. Actually, it's not. Oh, but it is, though. No, it's not. Would you both shut up? So, there's a scene in which Dave is talking to Simon and Theodore, and there's a little brown black piece. And like, Theodore, did you just... And Simon's like, it's a raisin, Dave. Prove it. And he puts it in his mouth. But then he's like, all right. And he leaves. And and he spits it out and he goes, you owe me. And I'm like, and that's gross. But actually, if you pay attention to the trailers, you'd know that it was actually Alvin who was the one who was supposed to eat the poop. Now, if you're wondering, well, why did they change it? Officially, I don't know. But the only thing I can think of is that they did show that in the trailer, and someone in the studio went, no, Alvin's the leader. You can't show him. You have him eating the poop. Because I don't even know what the hell Alvin is supposed to be at this point. So instead, Simon eats it, because Simon's the nerd. Whatever. So, what are your thoughts on Alvin and the Chipmunks? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.